A man and a woman have been floating at sea for several days, different from girls' restlessness. The boy is very positive and optimistic, just because he fell in love with the person in front of him at first sight. This is a rare opportunity to be together. At this time, an island appears. Upon seeing this, the girl asked the boy to row the boat manually to the shore, but he was so hungry that he had no energy at all. Fortunately, a strong wind came in time. The boat was blown directly to the shore. After docking, Emma, who was starving, quickly went to find something to eat, but Dean just wants to find a place to take a shower first. After all, they've been smelling bad for 3 days. Have to say, this island is a paradise. Not to mention abundant resources. There are also natural hot springs. Dean invites Emma to take a bath together. At first the other party was a little hesitant, but they can't help but Dean's enthusiasm. The two of them had a great time after entering the water. Dean saw Emma's attractive body. Can't help but think about it. He has other plans in mind. A week ago, the two of them are still strangers who can't even fight each other. As a second-generation rich girl, Emma is good at both morals and academics, but she's never been in love. Hearing about her best friend's blushing and heart-pounding experience, Emma is ready to move. Taking advantage of school graduation trip, she decided to end her single life. Different from Emma's excitement, Dean thinks this kind of trip is very boring. He has been expelled from many schools for being arrogant and domineering. He just wants to escape from earthly life. At night, everyone had a slumber party on the yacht. Best friend asked Emma to take the initiative to end her single life. But he didn't dare to take the first step. She can only stay cautiously in the corner. At this time, the police are on a speedboat to conduct a surprise inspection. There was a commotion. Emma was accidentally squeezed by the crowd and fell into the sea. Dean saw no one came to rescue her, so he jumped into the sea and pulled the person into the speedboat. Before Emma could react, Dean cut the rope. He didn't want the police to send him. Go home by yourself, so they planned to wait until the inspection was completed before boarding the ship. What a coincidence. It rained heavily. The police also left. The two prepared to set off to chase the boat. They didn't expect that the speedboat had no motor at all. Just like that, the two of them got lost with a large army. After the trip, school head count. Only then did they realize that two classmates were missing. But finding someone now is like finding a needle in a haystack. Fortunately, Emma and Dean successfully landed on an isolated island. After a round of inspection, they discovered that the island was rich in resources. Emma found white nuts. Without thinking, she picked it off and prepared to eat it. Fortunately, Dean stopped him in time. The more beautiful the fruit, the more toxic it is. Only purple and blue fruits. You can try it. Emma is doubtful. Put down the fruit. The feeling of being hungry is very uncomfortable. After walking for a few hours, the two looked at the rough sea and the darkening sky. There is some fear in their heart, so they planned to go back to the ship. On the way down the mountain, Dean discovered a hidden cave. He felt like he can escape the heavy rain weather, but Emma immediately refused. She grew up. Only stay in hotels with 5 stars or above. She don't want to be a savage at all. The words just fell. A swarm of bats fly out of the cave. They were so frightened that they fell directly into the lake. This accident made the two of them want to escape even more. They didn't expect the shore to be empty. Their hovercraft has been blown away. The vast sea is deserted. Emma collapsed. Dean's good mood gradually disappeared. Watch the sunset disappear. There are still no ships passing by on the sea. The two of them could only find something to satisfy their hunger temporarily, trying to treat this accident as an adventure. Dean spent a lot of effort. Finally lit a fire. The surrounding atmosphere is quiet and peaceful. Emma picked up the phone. She feels a little worried looking at the remaining battery power. There's no signal here at all. She is cold and hungry now. Dean shows a gentleman's attitude. He took off his clothes and gave them to Emma while they were resting. Emma heard a cry coming from the mountains. She was so scared that she didn't sleep all night. The big-hearted Dean opened his eyes and it was the afternoon of the next day. His energy has recovered a lot. But when he woke up, there was no one around him. He found out when he walked to the shore. Emma is writing a distress signal on the ground with a wooden stick. Her cell phone is completely out of battery. If you can't think of a way, then we can only wait to die. On the contrary, Dean is in good spirits when he wakes up. Take off your coat and jump into the sea for a swim. This is much more comfortable than a swimming pool of a few square meters. At this time, school leaders and parents also called the police. They mistakenly thought that the two fell into the water, searched ashore. The result of this is naturally nothing. At this time, in order to find water, Emma went to the hot spring we passed yesterday. But she always felt like something was watching them. She can only return to Dean as soon as possible. They say men and women match each other. Not tired from work, Dean, who had studied carpentry, started building a house with his bare hands. Although very simple, but it can also cover a certain amount of scorching sun and heavy rain. Later, Dean also found a wild coconut. Eat the sweet pulp inside. The two of them feel much better. Except coconut, they also discovered wild banana trees. These fruits are enough for them to live on. They say that when you are full, you will think about other things. Dean is no exception. Look at Emma's attractive body. He feels that it cannot be wasted. Then he led people to jump into the sea. But this kind of superficial taste often stops. He still can't calm down his mood. So he took the initiative to confess to Emma. Girl is bathing in the outdoor swimming pool. The boy not far away watched intently. He had a bold idea. That's because I want to have a baby with a girl. Build your own Garden of Eden. Most people would be miserable if they were stranded on a deserted island. But Dean is completely the opposite. Natural beauty plus. A life like a picturesque female companion is hard to come by. After waking up, two people go swimming at the beach. Eat wild fruits when they are hungry. When you're tired, just make do on the ground. It's so comfortable when no one disturbs them. But they don't know. Parents are looking for them. Exhausted a lot of financial and material resources. Nothing has been achieved in the past 2 months. In the end, even the police canceled the rescue activities. It is believed that the two of them were buried under the sea. But Emma's parents always believed that their daughter was alive. The same goes for Emma. He misses his old life every day. As a rich second generation, he has no worries about food and clothing. Who is a poor boy, is not the same person at all. No one cared about Dean's whereabouts after being stranded on a deserted island. He fell down on the ground with a stick in frustration. A dried skeleton was found. This frightened Emma. In fear. She's worried that she will become a mummy in the future. Her spirit collapsed instantly. Dean could only comfort her that he was there. Don't be afraid. With such encouragement, Emma feels much better. See, the time is ripe. Dean did something that he had only dared to think about but not do before. The two established a romantic relationship. Thick, long, and nearly fruity. Had a solid sleep for the first time. Didn't wake up until the next evening. But when Emma opened her eyes, Dean had disappeared. She shouted the other person's name loudly. Never got a response. When she walked deep into the mountain, she discovered that Dean was digging a hole. He's going to hold a funeral for last night's mummy. Emma is very puzzled. The two people's opinions differed. Emma jumped directly into the pit. She happened to be hit on the leg by Dean's hoe. Blood flowed instantly. This accident allowed the two to resolve their conflicts. But then, Emma raised new concerns. She can't imagine if one of them gets sick in the future, what to do. Seeing that she has been worrying unfoundedly, Dean advised her to live well in the present moment and explained, "Why do you want to bury mummies?" It was because when his mother died. Not even a funeral. This incident has become a lifelong regret for Dean. He feels that even if someone dies, should also be treated well. Emma understood the other party's intentions. Take off clothes voluntarily. Take a hot spring bath with someone, to relieve boring time. The two also played role-playing. Emma looked at the childish Dean. She don't understand why he was expelled from many schools. During heart-to-heart talk, Dean told his secret. He was driving in the snow with his best friend. As a result, the car lost control. They both went to the hospital. But his friend missed the best rescue time. He died. Although it's not Dean's fault. But his life has been shadowed. Deep love. God also felt Dean's sadness. It rained heavily. Dean spins in circles in the rain. Look at his appearance. Emma's emotions were also aroused. At this moment, she felt like the two of them were soulmates. At this time, Emma's parents still did not give up the search and rescue work. They spent a lot of money. Charter a plane to search around the sea. Create countless flyers to distribute on the streets. But there is still no news. With the coming of the stormy season, Emma's mother is even more anxious. She became haggard. Emma's best friends also blame themselves very much. Everyone is trapped in painful emotions. After it clears up, Emma's mother finally returned home. Unexpectedly, the door was filled with flowers and condolences. They all thought Emma was dead. As everyone knows, Dean and Emma's life is pretty good. Two people sitting on the beach watching the sunrise and sunset. Emma noticed that Dean often stared at the sea level. Staring for hours. Dean explained. When I was a kid, my mother said there would be a green light on the horizon, so Dean and his father stared at the sea stupidly. Although never have seen green light, but as soon as I see the flat horizon. Dean felt relieved for a while. He see Emma worried every day. What she did. It gives people the greatest sense of security. In order to improve the food, she went fishing on the bottom of the sea. Gradually a few months passed. Their lives are becoming increasingly boring. Emma thinks it will stay on an isolated island for the rest of their lives. The same is true for Dean. He came up with a bold idea. Plan to turn the isolated island into a Garden of Eden. The young couple has been living on a desert island for 2 years. As the days become more boring, Dean wants to launch a human creation project. Have more children to play with. But Emma still has concerns. He has never forgotten his parents. Thinking about returning to the city one day. But fortunately, the turnaround was quick. On this day, Dean is looking for food. Suddenly the sound of an airplane came over. The two of them were very excited, planning to fire a flare gun to call for help. We can wait for Dean to rummage through his backpack. The flare gun has disappeared. He yelled at the plane in a hurry. But it's still of no use. Emma was furious. She feel like Dean messed up everything. But after she checks it out, found that flare guns are not allowed. Even my skincare products are gone. This means there are other people on the island. Dean felt that the other party was hallucinating. The two had a big fight. Emma collapsed. She planned to jump into the sea and swim home. But this is simply impossible. Wait until her mood calms down. Dean shouted for help toward the sea. But all he got was his own echo. He doesn't want to disappoint his girlfriend, but there's nothing he can do. At this time, sounds coming from the mountains. Dean felt that there might be savages around. So he walked in boldly. Unexpectedly, he collided head-on with a black panther. Dean was so frightened that he turned around and ran away. Emma also heard the sound of animals roaring. He quickly chased after me. As the Black Panther gets faster and faster, Dean can only bury it. Dean used a homemade dagger to kill the Black Panther. Wait until Emma arrives. Seeing her man so brave, she felt extremely at ease. After the danger is over, Emma finally accepted the life of two people. She and Dean built a sturdier wooden house, planned to live for a long time. At the same time, the students also adapted to it. There is no existence of Dean and Emma, only their parents. From time to time, they would go to my child's empty room and sit there, although the pain of losing a loved one will last a lifetime. But live the present moment. This is also a fact that everyone must accept. Emma and Dean calmed down. When the weather is fine, the two of them went into the sea to fish. When the weather is bad, they're hiding in the hut. This day, the two of them were studying how to preserve food. A monkey suddenly appeared in the tree. What he holds in his hand, it's the long-lost flare gun. Dean's desire to survive was ignited, after struggling to get the pistol back. But Dean didn't expect that after Emma took the gun, fired a shot directly into the air. Now only one of the two bullets is left. He no longer entertains any thought of being rescued. This move also made the two of them completely give up. Just as he was about to fire the second shot, Dean stopped. I think his behavior is too crazy. A quarrel broke out between the two. The press Dean can quarrel with the other party. You can only go fishing in the river. Emma, who calmed down, also realized my behavior just now was a bit impulsive. He apologized proactively. They didn't expect that the signal gun just worked. The sound of the plane came. The two of them ran to the shore excitedly. Fortunately, there is still a bullet to the flare gun. They launch again. The plane really noticed the two people on the beach. 2 years later, Emma and Dean were finally rescued. At the airport, their relatives and friends, and countless media are waiting here. The two walked hand in hand with their parents. But as Emma returns to the arms of her parents, their contact was also interrupted. Dean couldn't bear to look back at Emma. The other party never looked back. A huge sense of loss hits. Wait until Emma notices. Dean has disappeared. The two return to their original lives that did not intersect. Adventure on a desert island is like a dream. In the end, Dean couldn't bear to miss him. Dean secretly climbed through the window and found Emma. He thought the two of them would be the same as before. But Emma is very resistant to the other party's closeness. Shortly after, Emma's parents held a birthday party for their daughter. Then he sent his daughter back to the small courtyard. She's still a very popular top student. Dean is still a scumbag who no one cares about. Sometimes the two of them meet each other's eyes, but they won't say another word. Wait until graduation day. The school held a dance. Emma attended the event dressed up in a skirt. Dean stayed at home. He thinks no one will dance with him. After the father saw his son's abnormality, he take the initiative to take out her suit. With the encouragement of Carl, Dean braved the heavy rain and came to the dance venue. See that familiar face? Emma couldn't hold it back. Finally came to meet in the rain. Dean took out the ring he had prepared. Invite Emma to dance. The two reconciled. Lovers get married. The story ends here. Friends who like this can love time. You can go watch the original film.